and Joseph.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is Thursday Tier Talk. As always, joining me, my co-host, the Dazzler, who's not one bit happy with United tonight by the looks of things. So maybe the show will cheer you up a little bit to take your mind off the football a bit. How are you, my friend?
Couldn't make things any worse, pal. Put it that way. I think we just spoke there about it before we came on. The only thing worse than watching Harry Maguire is listening to Brian Kerr. For any of our subscribers who are watching from outside of Ireland, we'll need to put a clip of Brian Kerr's commentary.
We'll pull it out tomorrow for a short.
God.
Don't worry.
We'll have to pull it out. My God.
I've experienced it firsthand when he talks about Shaqiri.
He looks like he's banjaxed over there in the corner, and now in about 5 minutes he's gonna jump up and look like he's had the kiss of life. Oh my God!
Crazy, isn't it? Absolute madness.
Jesus.
Just gonna be a bad week for United. Brighton on the horizon as well.
Huh? Somebody pays this guy money for this. This is hardcore.
I know, and pays him well. Doesn't just pay him; gets paid well. Let's take some comments first because we've got a great show tonight. We're going to be doing reviews, previews, beat the bookie, and we've got a nice little video clip for you tonight, Dazzler, as well, of something that Rio said yesterday or the day before on his podcast about Arsenal and United. So I'll play the clip and then we'll get your thoughts, and we'll get the thoughts of everyone in the chat.
I may have seen this clip earlier.
You may have, but
I may have.
Interesting to get your thoughts. Anyway, Acers is in as always. Sevilla have knocked United out of Europe 3 times in the last 6 years. Absolutely insane. Listen, I've been on the receiving end of Sevilla in a final as well. So Joanne is in. How are you, Joanne? Hope you're doing well. Joanne straight out of the blocks with the predictions 3-2. The Southampton against Arsenal. Stevie Stubbs is in. Check out Statman Stubbs, great channel out there doing all things Liverpool himself, and John, of course, Glasgow. John.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Hope John's on the mend as well, Steve. If you are talking to him, let him know our thoughts are with him if he's on the mend. Redbird as well. Many Manx sit down. Redbird. And Redbird, West Ham 4-1, 5-2 on aggregate. West Ham. That's not a good result for me, just for my beat the bookie. I was predicting something a little bit different, but we shall see. We're over and out of the title. Joanne, don't wash it away yet. Don't wash it away yet. We shall see. But let's begin. We'll begin with the reviews and the previews. We'll start with the reviews first of all. Go middle ground here. Champions League. Real Madrid, Man City, and AC Milan versus Inter Milan. Milan derby for a place in the final, which has huge ramifications now, of course, with the 15-point Juve deduction being overturned now. Juve back up into third in Serie A, with Lazio second, as far as I know, and Napoli first. So a lot on this game now, even more so than there was yesterday. Give us your thoughts on the Champions League.
I suppose we kind of saw the City and Real going through. That was no surprise to us. I suppose on the other side, I didn't think AC get by Napoli. And I thought Inter would have difficulty with Benfica, but they didn't have any difficulty at all. So obviously, great to have a Milan derby in the semi-final. But from a quality point of view, I mean, basically you're looking at this and you're saying, well, the winner of the Real and City final runs away with this. You
think so? A lot of people were saying that last night as well, and other people then were saying, but you're disrespecting the other half of the situation there. I don't think so. I can see where you're coming from with it and stuff like that. I think it's nailed on for Real or Man City at this stage. But you never know with Milan and stuff like that. You just never know,
If the draw had gone the other way and you'd have ended up with either of the Milan clubs being split, we would 100% be sitting here saying Real and City in the final. So we're not disrespecting anybody. This is just the way it is.
Yeah. And a Real City final would have been kind of cool as well, wouldn't it?
It would have been very cool.
But yeah, it goes to show as well with the Italian football at the moment, the way it has been, frowned upon and disrespected because of all the other stuff that's gone on and stuff like that. They had 3 Italian teams in the quarterfinals, you know what I mean? Which is very impressive.
And they've got 2 Italian teams in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well. Juve and Roma, both looking likely to go through at this stage.
Yeah. Roma scored there earlier just a few minutes ago, didn't they, or something? As far
Yeah,
as I know.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
at home as well in the second leg, so you'd have to think they might go and finish the job.
Who are you going with to win the Champions League? Who are you nailing on? Are you going City or Real?
Um, I I think it's very difficult to back against City, but
Yeah.
if anyone is going to beat Man City and stop them winning this Champions League, it's neither of the teams in the other semi-final.
Mm.
So this is Man City's final for me. If they beat Madrid, they'll lift the Champions League this year. But I think Madrid are very wily. They're an old team. They know how to do things and how to get through two-legged ties. They're very clever. You can see, the likes of Rodrigo and Vinny and Benzema and stuff like that, and with what they're backed up with in midfield and stuff. The only thing I will say is we know Chelsea aren't necessarily as in the spot they'd like to be in at the minute. Oh my God, has that just happened? You wait, you see the third goal.
Is it Sevilla or United?
Sevilla.
I'm watching here. I have it here in front of me on the Virgin Media player. All right, just say it's
The
after
ball
getting juiced
comes up in the air. He tries to trap it.
Oh my God! I tell you one thing. Not only that, that's a great finish. That's not easy. I know it's an empty goal, but that's not easy turning like that to get that spot on and get it in there. So nice finish.
There's nobody getting paid 30 grand a week's gonna miss that.
There's no one at
This is
Sevilla
a
getting
howler.
paid. There's no one at Sevilla getting paid 30 grand a week. Stop that now.
Oh, good Lord, that's a howler. That is a howler.
He hasn't doused himself in any grace tonight at all. Sure, he hasn't.
That is
let's take some comments
shit
before we run away, and then we'll get into the FA Cup.
Joanne's
Joanne's in. What do you two think of Arteta? I think we've been big fans of Arteta, haven't we?
I think he's done a great job. I really do. I really do. And I think also the thing you've got to remember that, Arsenal fans won't remember is he's had to do this with no Champions League, which meant attracting players was difficult. This is a big step to go and attract the kind of players he's attracted and get guys to come to a club that haven't had Champions League, right? Which meant you didn't have that on the table, which meant you had to try and sell them something else. And he's obviously done this to get guys in the door, and he's built this team, he's built this squad. He's not finished building. And just because Arsenal, may or may not lift the league title this season, that's not the end of Mikel Arteta, and that's not the end of Arsenal. We talked about this before, and how Liverpool had to build themselves up year on year under Jurgen Klopp until they finally hit the jackpot. I would not be surprised at all to see Arsenal go and make a couple of signings in the summer and kick on again next season. I wouldn't.
Yeah, there was talks coming out today as well of him being linked with a move to Real. I don't see that happening being an ex-Barcelona guy.
I was going to say it's unlikely, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, we're seeing an ex-Spurs manager being linked with Chelsea, so you just don't know.
We'll be getting into that. I have a nice slide for you later on Chelsea.
I knew you would.
I have our weekly slide ready for Chelsea. Don't worry. Eno's in the comments. What's the crack? Oh, good, Eno. Good to see you there. Redbird is in. I said at the start of the season, City will win the Champions League. Been praying all season. I'm wrong. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we spoke about Darren. I think yourself and yourself are nailed onto that somewhat as well, weren't we? And Baz is in the comments. Big up, Baz. Evening, lads. United are a mess. They certainly are tonight. There's no doubt about it. But, the other thing you have to remember as well, look at the quality that's not on that pitch from United tonight. That's a lot of quality to drop and expect a performance as well. Now, I know, and Sevilla's not an easy place to go either, regardless of where they are in La Liga.
I'm not necessarily worried about what's missing. The only two things I will say here is, number one, you've mentioned it. This is not an easy place to go. Whether they're top of the league or bottom of the league, you can see the atmosphere there. There's many a club have been top of a league or running away with something, and all of a sudden, Sevilla got hold of them here. So this happens. Feyenoord just got an equaliser against Roma. They're now 2-1 up on the night. But the second thing I would say is, and I know people don't want to factor this into their thinking, there's no club in Europe played more games so far this season than Manchester United.
Yeah.
And we know when you don't have squad depth, it catches up with you eventually.
You don't have to tell me about playing volume of games. Right? Look what's caught up on us this season from last season.
So there you go. Absolutely.
absolutely.
And we
But
spoke about it then as well, by the way. We're not only mentioning it because it's United. We
mm,
had the same conversation last season about Liverpool and
yeah,
about
absolutely.
the number of games that they played and how when you have a smaller squad with a lack of quality and depth and stuff like that, it can hurt you later on at the business end of things, you know.
Yeah. Acer's back in. He reckons City will win everything this season, bar the Carabao Cup. But I don't know. I think United might have a card to play in that FA Cup. That's our only way of stopping the treble, really, isn't it? If we think that City might do the business in the league as well, you know. So be interesting. But Real are going to have a lot
There's,
to say about that. Is Real are
I
not
was
going to
going to
roll
say
over?
there's a lot
No.
of football to be played. A
I
lot of
mean,
football to be played.
Real literally beat Chelsea over the two ties without breaking a sweat or finding their rhythm at all, and
Yeah,
found it
but
very fun.
you've also got to remember, like Real coughed up a couple of chances. Chelsea don't have a lot going on up that end of the
Mm,
pitch at the minute.
yeah. Mm,
City do.
mm,
You cannot give City the chances that Real gave Chelsea because if they do, they'll lose this over two legs.
mm. I would preface that by saying as well that City have a much better defence. In fairness as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, at times, you know, they're not faultless at times. I don't think Chelsea are very, very poor at the back. You know, I think they've got a
Yeah.
poor keeper, but I do think that back four and stuff isn't terrible and stuff like that. You know.
Eno's in the comments. It's Daz o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. My good friend Dazzler, live as always in living colour. Living colour, same punk reference there.
Can you?
Ted is in. Anyone looking to buy a defender, there's one going cheap here. Ted, there could be two or three going cheap. Stevie's in 3-0 Sevilla. Yeah, absolutely. Massive mistake from the head. Yeah, absolutely. We'll just catch up in these comments. Brighton will destroy that defence. Maguire Fridge's comedy channel. Don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well, listen,
They're more than capable. But
absolutely. I don't believe you can start Harry Maguire on Sunday.
What are you thinking, Sean Lindelof?
Has to be, or possibly even Sean Varane if we can get him back in time. But there's not. I know he had did a new daughter yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that may have played a part in whether he was gonna travel or not. But listen, Maguire cannot play games if we are to have any hope of an FA Cup or even maintaining our position in the league. He's done. He's absolutely done. He's a shadow of the footballer he was at one stage, and
Yeah.
that's saying something because he was never unbelievable, you know.
Yeah. Don't let Roy Keane hear you talking about a player not making himself available after having a baby, or we'll get into talk about whether that player is breastfeeding the baby and all this kind of stuff. Remember, that was that Robbie Keane, wasn't it? Mental stuff.
There's lots of things that I wouldn't discuss Roy Keane about. You know what I mean? He's my feelings on Roy.
Absolutely. You'll appreciate this one. Ian talks about Mudrick, that fella who plays for Chelsea with the Jason Donovan haircut.
I was talking to Ian yesterday, and he threw that one in, and I thought it was a belter when he threw it in. I have to be honest with you.
He's saying, what's happening, Barry? Don't forget, folks, there's a QR code down there in the corner, which will bring you straight to our TikTok page as well. If you want to scan that and give us a follow on TikTok, we've got plenty going on out there as well, not just on YouTube. Acers, City destroys Sevilla twice in group stage this season. Yeah, but that's not really the comparison. Baz is in. What's the crack? Joanne is flying with the stuff here. Fulham 2, Leeds 0. We better back. We'll talk about it. We'll get back into the review then. Let's talk FA Cup. Let's talk FA Cup. Obviously, it's difficult looking at tonight and stuff like that, but let's start with FA Cup. Man City versus Sheffield United. Don't think it'll be a bother. We're expecting probably Haaland to be rested. Julian Alvarez will come in and probably fill his boots. But Sheffield United have been playing well this season, haven't they?
Been doing very well in the Championship under Paul Heckenbaum. I'm a big Championship fan, as you know, and they've done extremely well. More than likely, will go up automatically behind Burnley. And we've waxed lyrical about Burnley, a number of times this season. I suppose the best way you can describe Sheffield United is they're workmanlike. There's nothing flashy about them. They're solid at the back, and they score enough goals to get them over the line. Couple of nice little players. the boy James McAtee is actually a Man City player. So I'm not sure if he's eligible or not.
Eligible.
And then he is eligible, is he?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. And
wonder will Pep be that pity that penny?
well, and then
Maybe.
there's also the lad, Senegalese international Iliman Ndoye, and he's a very, very handy player. He's somebody that I know a couple of Premier League clubs looked at in January and didn't pull the trigger on. I think he was quite close to a move to Everton, and they kind of couldn't stump up the cash, I think, with the financial fair play issues. But he's a nice footballer as well. Always good for a goal or an assist and stuff like that. And they'll be tidy, they'll be efficient, but I think City are going to have too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, with all that in mind, it'll be City 5-1.
Well,
that won't be that bad, I'd imagine.
No, but listen.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Brighton versus United.
Yeah, I think this is going to be tough for us. I really, really do. I think tonight is going to be huge. Tonight's going to be massive that we've gone out the way we have. You know, obviously last week when you're watching that game, we should have been 4-0 up at half time last Thursday. We should have been 4-0. It was crazy. We almost lost the game in the end. And we've been on the ropes ever since then with Sevilla. Obviously it was great to get the league form, keep that moving at the weekend, but I think Brighton will have their tails up after seeing this tonight. They're well rested from last weekend, and I think they'll really come out of the traps and try and get at us. I mean, anybody watching us right now who doesn't target Harry Maguire or that central defensive partnership on area of the pitch is crazy. And I think Brighton will really, really push us. I wouldn't be surprised to see us go to the full distance and maybe even penalties.
Are these both being played at Wembley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that. Ted is in. He's saying somebody give Mane a call. There's a few digs to be thrown in the locker room here. Absolutely. And Baz is saying Maguire is out for Sunday because of multiple yellow cards. Thank God.
Baz is 100% right, actually.
Is he?
100% right.
Which, the news every Man United fan wants to hear.
Yeah, I suppose, like, your options then, Bruno was back, we've got Sabitzer, we've got Ericsson. I wouldn't at all be shocked to see Casemiro play centre-half.
Yeah, absolutely. Sabitzer doesn't look right either. Sure he didn't tonight?
No, he wasn't great. Roma 2-1 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate, just pulled it back there.
Excellent.
That's going to go to extra time. I think, there's lots of options there as to what can happen in the centre-back role. You know, if you got Varane back, you could possibly play him and Lindelof. Maybe he'll play Shaw. Maybe he'll, put Casemiro in, or even Scott McTominay if you wanted, who obviously plays centre-back a lot for Scotland. Casemiro will be available. You've got Sabitzer, Fred, so we have bodies. It's just what we are a little light in the centre-back position, but we should be able to cover it. But I think Brighton are in good form and their tails will be up,
Yeah, especially if you're carrying the disappointment of tonight as well. You never know. You might need to bounce back, but I'm sure Ten Hag will be absolutely fuming at this, Well,
the one thing we have done quite well is anytime we've taken a hiding, we've come out and got a result the next game. So, that certainly does.
And he's back. You must be getting notifications on your phone or something, eh?
I wasn't. It looked like it was your end.
No, I've been here all along. I'm here.
I could see you. Yeah, I could see the camera. The red button had come off.
Yeah. No, I'm here. Give us your prediction for the FA Cup final then. I presume you're going. Are you going City United?
Yeah, we'll go to Derby and hopefully I can get a ticket, I suppose.
Go to Derby. Right, let's get into the Premier League. Arsenal versus Southampton. Joanne's not convinced. I think Joanne's prediction for this one is right up the top, I think. 3-2 Southampton, she's thinking.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be that pessimistic. I've done a bet later on, and I don't think Southampton will get on the score sheet this weekend.
I think Arsenal are going to fill their boots in this one, to be honest. I think they'll
Yeah,
bounce back.
I think they'll get 2 or 3, and I think they'll be tidy at the back. It's back at the Emirates and stuff like that. I think Arsenal all over. I'm gonna go Arsenal 2-0.
Fulham Leeds, big lunchtime one.
Yeah, plenty of goals on offer. I think again, both teams getting a bit leaky at the back there. Leeds need a win, really, really do, just to stretch their legs a little bit away from that bottom three and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think this is the best place to go when you're looking for a window. I know obviously Fulham are without the boy Mitrovic, but generally at home they've been quite good all season and they've done enough to score a goal or two here and there. I'm gonna just go to draw on this one. I just think, I think it'll be a really dogged sort of a game, really hard fought kind of a game with not a lot of quality, and I'm gonna go 1-1 here.
I think Fulham will just shade it. I looked at Leeds' body language the other night against us. I know we thumped them, but they look all over the shop at the moment. Brentford, Aston Villa.
Probably the game of the week. Well, other than the Newcastle Spurs game, probably the game of the weekend. This one, obviously that community stadium at Brentford. We've talked about how big that is for Brentford and playing at home and stuff like that. Haven't been in great form. Brentford are due a result, but Aston Villa are flying, absolutely flying. Big performances. He's really getting the best out of the boy Martinez in goal. They've turned into a clean sheet machine. And when you start keeping clean sheets, you can go and score goals and win games. It's a great formula. Done that at a lot of places. Emery really has, including Sevilla, by the way, who are now celebrating. I think Villa could do this, and I certainly wouldn't have thought that, a couple of weeks ago. But the way they've gone on the run and stuff like that, and the confidence they would have got from that, I think Villa might just nick this. And I'm going to go 2-1 Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'm thinking Villa as well. Brentford, to me, the last couple of weeks, especially the game against you guys, they look like they've ran out of ideas a little bit. They've looked like they're at the lofty heights of what they've reached. And it looks like that they're struggling a little bit somewhat. So, yeah, Palace, Everton.
Don't see anything other than a Palace win. But I certainly think Everton will make it competitive, as Sean Dyche tends to make these dogfights, doesn't he? He'll make it rough, he'll make it rugged. But I think the way Palace are playing at the minute under Hodgson, again, got the confidence back. They're tighter at the back. They're creating more opportunities higher up the pitch. They're pressing nice and high. I've got Palace in this one 2-1.
Yeah, especially at Selhurst Park, not a place to go.
I think so.
For
No.
Plus, I think they've
never
a
a good place to go.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Leicester Wolves.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. I keep expecting Leicester to kind of put their best foot forward, and every week I'm kind of going, uh-oh. Now, we did call this quite a few weeks ago, right? And we did say that Leicester were in big, big trouble. And it's proved that way. I think the Dean Smith thing, I think it's a really poor decision from the board. I think the Dean Smith decision is as bad a decision as Chelsea putting Lampard in there. I think if you're in charge at Leicester, you leave Rodgers there till the end of the season. Knowing that at any stage he can turn it around, because the lads are generally in his corner and they've done it before. And I think the same thing at Chelsea. I think you leave Potter till the end of the season. I think what they tried to do in the Champions League didn't work it back for it a little bit, and I think now it's really getting shown up for how poor a decision it was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Wolves there.
Yeah, same as Joanne.
Yeah, but I don't think there'll be much in it. I don't think there'll be much in it at all. I think both teams to score, but Wolves to nick it just 2-1.
Good shout. Liverpool Forest.
yeah, you'd have to think that this is another opportunity for Liverpool to stretch their legs after last week. Obviously, a great performance. Got the goals. The front players really, really ran the show again as they did against United. A different set of front three, but still a front three that was able to take the game by the scruff of the neck and stuff like that. It was great to see Diaz back on the pitch. And obviously Jota getting his couple of goals and stuff like that. I fully expect you boys to kick on here. Now, I don't necessarily think, it'll be 6, but I certainly think you'll get 3 to 4. But I do think Forest will get in for 1 because I just don't trust anyone in that Liverpool back line at the minute. So I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, good show. We'll talk a little bit about it later as well. This people losing their mind over this masterful inverted decision that they've made that most teams normally play these days. Like we had invented the way. But check out, I did a preview for the Forest game earlier, folks. So you can check it out there and get my thoughts.
What score did you call?
3-0.
Okay, so we weren't far away from each other.
Yeah, now we've been decent. In fairness, we've been decent at home. I looked it up as well, the history as well. The last 4 times we've played Forest on Anfield, we've beaten them. And the last time we played them was 1998. Michael Owen scored 4 in a 5-1 win.
Okay.
There's a bit of history for you folks there. Bournemouth versus West Ham.
Huge result for West Ham tonight. Obviously, getting through to the semi-final of that conference. But I don't fancy them on the weekend. I never fancy teams that play in the Thursday night. You know that I talk about it week on week. They're away. They're at Bournemouth. Bournemouth have had some great results recently and some really good performances. I think West Ham will get on the score sheet, but I think Bournemouth will have enough to get over the line here. And I'm going to go Bournemouth 2-1 and keep your eye out for an anytime goal scorer later on from Bournemouth. We haven't had a lot of them this season.
Yeah, good man Billing. Dare to say, you might have the same beat the bookie as me there. We're thinking very alike here.
Where are we?
We are. We're thinking very, very alike. Newcastle versus Tottenham.
Yeah, this is going to be another shit day at the office for Spurs fans. St James's Park has been rocking recently. This is Newcastle's chance to bury Spurs in this race for 4th place. And I fully expect them to do it. The crowd are behind them. They'll go out, they'll have a serious performance in them. We know Tottenham are very leaky at the back and haven't been able to, string together that fluidity in forward play. I'm actually going to go 3-1 Newcastle.
Then we're kind of not thinking the same because I've gone with the pattern of Tottenham this season where we've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and they've just come off a loss. So I was kind of expecting a reaction. And I've noticed as well when Newcastle play at home against kind of your top 4, top 6, they have struggled a bit this season. So we bet the member up there at St James's and we were
I did. Yeah, but you're outside the top 6. They beat us.
No, I mean, I'm talking the traditional top 6. So you're normally outside that. Acers reckons Fred should have started tonight. Darren will not disagree with you on that. He's a huge Fred fan. Joanne's going for Newcastle to win 3-0.
Yeah, I think Newcastle will do it Sunday. I really do. And I think if they do, that absolutely buries Spurs in the Champions League race. Buries them.
And Brentford Aston Villa will be a good game. Yeah, it could be game of the weekend, actually.
Sure will.
Joanne thinks Arsenal are over and out. I think Arsenal are going to thump Southampton.
Yeah, so do I.
Acers is thinking Arsenal 4-0. Yeah,
I think they're going to thump them 2-0.
Ted's thinking 4-0 as well. Yeah, and Acers City will destroy Arsenal easily on Wednesday. I wouldn't say easily.
No,
but,
neither would I.
And our resident referee is in. Fuck the Europa League anyway. Evening, lads. Looking great. Thanks very much, Marky. And Acers is in. Robbie Savage is saying that all United fans should be refunded after that shambolic performance tonight. Good Lord. Richie's in. All good, Barry. And Joanne, Acers, it's going to be like bomb going off against Arsenal. Laugh out loud. I give City 10 minutes to score. Redbird is in tonight as well. Big up Redbird. 3-1 to the pool. Yeah, good shout. I went for it. He's going Arsenal 3-0, arseholes. And West Ham 1-1. And Joanne, the day Arteta gets sacked, I'm going on a good piss up. What if he's going to Real Madrid? And Ian's in, on this day, I'm now 5 years and 6 months cancer free. Congratulations, Ian. Absolutely
That's excellent,
outstanding.
Dino.
And we should also shout out a little message here as well. Hit the likes, folks, for this as well. Darren, whose birthday is it today? We haven't mentioned it yet on the show.
So we haven't mentioned it yet. It's Princess Tallulah's birthday today. She was 6 today. She had a pretty good day, I think. She got up bright and early to get her presents before she went to school, and then we had another delivery come in later and stuff. So she was a happy little 6-year-old today, and her mummy brought her out and spoiled her in a few places as well. So yeah.
So make sure you smash the likes for Tallulah's birthday, and in the chat,
Absolutely.
show some of those birthday cake emojis and birthday
Did
candle
you?
emojis, stuff like that. And Darren can show her tomorrow.
I had a cameo this morning.
Oh, did you? Yeah?
I had a cameo. I did, yeah. We got into the car to go to school, you know, and we would only ever listen to one radio station. We're big FM 104 fans. So we get into the car this morning, and they were doing they wanted you to text in and let them know which tune they were playing for the retro tune kind of thing, you know. And they had one was a Britney Spears song, Toxic, and the other one was Born Slippy, you know.
Okay.
So I says, few of them vocals in that Britney Spears one sound a bit toxic. Let's go with Born Slippy. Big shout out to Tallulah for the birthday, right? And of course, they played the voice note on the radio. Kids in the back seat of the car. She's bopping it.
Seem to have lost Darren there. Big shout out Dave in the chat there. Dave's LFC chats, go on, the lads love it. Dave, shout out as well. Check out Dave's channel as well and subscribe to as well. Dave had James Pearce on yesterday from The Athletic talking all things Liverpool. It was a great show, Dave. I was stuck on the M50 in traffic and really enjoyed the show all the way home. It was absolutely great. Had a great time listening to it. Redbird is in the comments, Newcastle 2-0. And Joanne, I'll fly him to Madrid myself. Henry's in. Evening, Niall and Dazzler. Check out Henry's channel. Henry, did you hit the 110 yet? Is the 110 home and host? Ain't made up for you, fella. I'm a survivor and you will be too. Awesome, lads. Great to hear that. Great stuff. Henry, big up chat. And Eno's in again. Happy birthday. That's what I want to see. Those happy birthdays for Tallulah. ET being played at Roma. Extra time. 2-0. 2-2 on aggregate. Absolutely. Who'd bet against Jose Mourinho, huh? And Joanne's in. Love it. Joanne, the birthday cakes for Tallulah. Hi, Henry says, I had to pop off early. Just had to do something. Not a bother. Dave's in. Thanks, mate. Yeah, absolutely. It was a quality show. Check it out. Go over to Dave's channel. Some great interviews over there and great stuff. And I love the match reactions as well and stuff like that. We're both so animated, aren't we, Dave, at times when we're happy about the football. It's great stuff. Evening, gents. I've arrived. Frank Lampard updates. You're just here in time, my friend. Just here in time. We're about to get into a chat about Chelsea now in a minute. And Redboard is in. Hi, Dave. And Henry again. No problem, Redboard. You're free to come and go as you please. Absolutely. Acers. Harry Kane has a decent record at St. James's Park. He certainly does. And just finished my live, Niall. Didn't know if your live was still going. Yeah, absolutely. We're late tonight, Henry. 9:30 it was. Darren was celebrating his daughter's birthday. So just waiting on him to come back on in a minute. He should be back on shortly, I hope, if he hasn't been absolutely bounced. Let me check my WhatsApp. Nothing there at the moment, so we'll get him back on now in a second. Cheap Heat is on. Any sign of Darren? Is he on the Chelsea roar tonight? No, he's not on the Chelsea roar. I don't think Darren's ever been on the Chelsea roar. I'm not too sure. No problem, Niall. Absolutely. And Ian's in. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone in the chat and all the channels. No sign of Darren yet. He hasn't come back on yet. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's lost his Wi-Fi or something like that. Let's see what happens. But let's talk, folks. Let's chat about this man. let's get into this. I'm sure a lot of you are going to like this in the chat. Daniel Levy today coming out, despite the fact I feel sick that there's a club in North London that's a bit higher than us at the moment in time. If I look back in the last 5 years, we've also been higher than them. What did people think of this conversation today with Daniel Levy, this interview and stuff like that? Absolutely bewildering, isn't it, when you think about Spurs and stuff like that? Talking about celebrating being just above Arsenal and lowering your situation and stuff like that. Absolutely crazy. Acers is in. Chelsea will be going mad that United game isn't going ahead on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. Henry, I jumped the gun on United score. I thought game was over. He goes, duh, red. Absolutely. But let us know your thoughts on Daniel Levy today. Absolutely gas. Some of the stuff he came out with and stuff like that was absolutely crazy. What else do we want to talk about? We're going to talk about Chelsea. I have a nice little slide done up here with a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot to unpack on this one. Ian is in. Support all football podcasts. Sure, show the love, I'm sure. Henry's in. Levy will be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Gareth Bale and others. Yeah, absolutely. And Barry's in. Happy birthday. All the cakes and presents and everything. Love it. Henry, whose birthday is it? It's Darren's daughter, Tallulah. It's her birthday today. She's an absolute gem. And crazy Jewish. Yeah, absolutely. He's absolutely crazy, Levy, isn't he, when you think about it? But let's talk Chelsea, folks. Chelsea in quite the mess at the moment. Hopefully Darren will be back on to talk about this. But yeah, they're an absolute mess at the minute. So where do we begin? Where do we even begin to unpack with Chelsea? I see Darren down there backstage again. And he's back. How are we? Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I went through a few bits. I went through the chat, and then I went through. You're getting lots of birthday cake in the chat and stuff like that, and all. So you'll have to show to Lula tomorrow. She'll be absolutely stoked. I spoke about this briefly before we get into Chelsea. Daniel Levy coming out with absolute scutter today. What was your thoughts on this? He was talking about Kane getting a statue outside the ground and that Kane will win a trophy there and all. And I was thinking, is he taking up singing and he's going to do concerts, or is he going into Formula One go-karting, or what is he doing? Because he ain't winning a trophy there anytime soon for football.
Unbelievable for the owner of a club to come out like this, or for, this is just absolute dribble. And the celebration and mediocrity at Spurs is fucking scandalous. And you hear quite a lot, City will win a league title and someone will say, oh yeah, but he's spent loads. And then United will win a league title, or Liverpool will win a league title. And then, yeah, but you bought an £80 million centre half, or you spend 80 million on a goalkeeper, whatever. Spurs throw absolute wedge everywhere. And they are dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
He was talking today about that all the concerts they're going through and all the deals and the American football and the go-kart and the Formula One, all that kind of stuff is all going to raise the revenue. And he said ultimately that revenue will find its way to the team in terms of investment. And I was thinking, no, it won't. Don't be so ridiculous. There's no chance of that. And I said, even if it does, based on your history of spending, it's not a good look anyway. Even if you
I was gonna say, even if you had 10 billion to spend, you'd fuck it up some way, and you'd buy, the next 10 off the plane. Like, it's just their scouting network for a long time has been very, very poor. Like, the last player that came through Spurs, that came through as a signing that made a real impact, and that really, tested the boundaries with Son. How long is he at the club now? Is he 5 years there?
Maybe more, is it?
He's got to be 5 years.
He's had a renewal, hasn't he? He's had a renewal, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but the renewal's going to happen earlier, depending on how well they're doing and stuff. But I mean, look at how much he's brought into the club, and how poor they've been, and how, how below and way off the level that Spurs need, that they are. It's just it's
It's a
carnage.
loser. It's a loser mentality, isn't it? It's a loser mentality. That
Recruitment is just so poor, so poor.
yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of clubs, your
Hmm.
favourite part of the week. I've put together a little slide here with a number of issues that we have to address. I'm sure people are going
I
to
thought
enjoy
when you
this. Redbird is in
when you
there.
were talking
Alula.
about clubs, we were gonna play. No, you did all right. You weren't miles away, Redbird. Fair play to you.
Yeah,
Um, I thought when you said clubs, you were going to show me a deck of cards at this stage, not this
no,
shambles.
absolutely. Don't forget, folks, if you want to follow us on TikTok, you can scan that QR code. It's on all the slides these days and stuff like that. Brings you straight to our TikTok. Um, let's talk about the mess that is Chelsea, and even more news coming out today. Do you know how many times I changed the slide today? About 3, with the amount of news that's coming out. Either 3 or 4 times I changed the slide today. I think this slide today started out with 3 images, and as the day went on, it got more and more and more. So I'm going to get your thoughts on this. There's a lot to unpack, of course. Didier Drogba says he doesn't recognise my club. He doesn't recognise my club, which is kind of damning. We had Thiago Silva coming out. I think he was sending a subliminal message, basically to tell the owners to stay the fuck out of the dressing room, stop signing players, and put a strategy in place of what you want to do before you buy any more players. I'm very concerned about players changing in the corridor and stuff like that and all. Of course, we don't have to speak any more about Frank Lampard. We know the situation with Frank there on an absolute meltdown at the moment. I think it's 18 games now, 1 win and 2 draws. Really, really poor. Guy shouldn't be there. He's been forced into a position he should have never been put into.
He put his hat into the ring for the Forest Green Rovers job,
Yeah.
and they chose Duncan Ferguson, who had no managerial experience.
And not only that, they made the right decision.
You fucking bet they did.
Duncan Ferguson, good friend of yours, driving you
You
around in a
know,
Ferrari, you know.
when I looked at the letters above Lampard,
Yeah.
I felt like I was at a train station in Wales. You know the way they look,
Yeah.
all those letters.
Yeah.
Um,
Ludlow. Yeah, Glenn Ludlow or
you
something. Or
know,
Ken Ludlow or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. You see
yeah.
them when we're heading up to Liverpool on the train. Yeah, it's gas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think I I don't often blow my own trumpet, but I'm gonna blow it now.
Mm.
I told you so. The man in the middle of that picture is the exact same as the sheriff that own my club and the sheriff that own your club. And by that, I mean a Yank. And the
Mm.
only thing Yanks know how to do with football clubs is fuck them over. They do not know their arse from their fucking elbow. Right?
The only
The
thing I'd say that is
owner,
I can't imagine the Glazers or John Henry toddling into the dressing room to give a pep talk or a call to arms, and then
I,
absolutely savage players told a number of players to shape up or ship out.
so when the chubby lad in the trench coat comes in and starts throwing darts at you and you're on 80 bags a week or 100 bags a week, like, what do you do there? Yeah, no problem, fat boy. Keep paying the wages. Because basically, you've got no fucking business being in this dressing room.
Did
Unless
you
you're the
see?
new kit man. And if you are, get out of the fucking overcoat. You
Did you see?
absolute shambles.
Did you see again the other night when Lampard was being interviewed after the game pitch side? And he walks across the whole pitch, the two of them. And
With the
right boy
beer in the
where
hand.
Lampard, and right boy, no, this was the second game. And right boy where Lampard was being interviewed, and he stops. I think it was Loftus Cheek was going out onto the pitch, maybe for a cool down. I don't know because I don't think he played, but he was coming out anyway with a rucksack on his back. And Bowley made a point of shaking hands with Loftus Cheek, cutting the side of the camera and stuff like that. But he walked right by the camera line to strut down the tunnel back into the changing room again. Tell me this:
And
what?
attention seeking whore.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Fuck's sake.
Talk to me about this 32 players thing. As you said, they're bloated to hell, need to get rid of a load of players. And there's talk at the moment now that the players who might decide to go might not be the players that you might actually want to lose.
This is going to happen. You're going to upset players when you make decisions like this. A lot of the lads that have come in came in under the proviso that they were going to work for Graham Potter and that they were going to work at a slower pace where, this was a building project. Yeah. All of a sudden, the organic nature of this was taken out. You've got Potter left the building. You've got, Frank the tea lady in charge, who hasn't again. I wouldn't let him look after my son's under eights. He's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. He's to management what Harry Maguire is to playing centre half. Neither of them should be getting a look in next season anywhere. Really, 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 I can't speak enough about how much of this sits at Bowley's door. This is
Henry,
Todd Bowley, and this is his shit show. This is his shit storm. He's caused it, and now he needs to fix it.
Yeah, Henry's just updating us 3-1 to Roma there, 3-2 on aggregate.
Very good.
Business. And Mark's in, happy wedding anniversary to my beautiful wife. Happy wedding anniversary, Mark. And Yvonne,
absolutely.
Shout out. Absolutely.
Happy wedding anniversary, Mark and Yvonne. Absolutely.
Morris has the popcorn out for the Chelsea section of the show, as always.
Yeah, listen, he's...
I was also reading today, give me your thoughts on this, and this might be a problem as well. Apparently crashing out of the Champions League and obviously not qualifying probably for Europe this season again. Apparently there's 19 players in line for a 30% pay cut because of this.
Because they're not playing in Europe.
Because they're out of Europe.
And if you're a player who's come in on X, Y, or Z, and all of a sudden you have to take a pay cut, you're going to get rightly fucked over and pissed off about it.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, if you're on 100 grand a week, that's 30 grand you're down.
Right. And don't forget, when this whole thing is going on, let's say someone says to me, you're on 100 grand a week, 30% pay cut if we don't make Europe. Okay, fine. I can work with that. However, don't give me a guy who shouldn't be managing Sunday League. Because what chance have I got with him? He's killing it completely, right? I've no hope now. Absolutely none.
Plus, as well, you're probably agreeing to it because you don't expect it to happen.
No, especially not with the quality that Chelsea have brought in. Yeah. Don't forget, we know that there's a lot of Chelsea that eventually will work. But because of this perfect storm that Bowley has caused, because of the shipping in of managers, shipping out of managers, because of this shipping in of players, shipping out of players, this needs to be done tactically, and it's not. We spoke about it in January. It was a scattergun approach to signing players. We thought what would happen was he'd at least give Potter till the end of the season and allow him to make changes, to the squad in the summer where he could get players out the door, work with a smaller group and stuff. That hasn't happened. He wasn't allowed the time. I don't see how Bowley can look at the situation and assess that Potter was a bigger issue at that club than he was.
Yeah. Mark's back in. I do always say me and Yvonne are happily married. She's happy and I'm married. Thanks, Henry. What do you make of this, what's unfolding in the managerial situation? Forget about Lampard at the moment, but if we think further afield, there's talk that Luis Enrique has gone off the short list. I would imagine he ruled himself out more than Chelsea ruled him out. But it's kind of coming down to two now, isn't it? It's coming down to Nagelsmann and it's coming down to Poch. Imagine the uproar if Poch goes in to manage Chelsea.
Yeah, so the talk initially was that Luis Enrique wanted too much control. And Bowley wasn't happy to give that much control to him. And he felt like he was going to be undermined by the owner. So he has decided to take his name, so to speak, out of the running for it, which again leaves you with Nagelsmann and Pochettino. Now, listen, I got to be honest. I think this is a mental move for either of these two lads. Mental. I think if I'm Nagelsmann, I'm probably more likely to go for than Pochettino. Excuse me. I think with Pochettino, he's been to a club that at times can be very poorly ran. i.e. PSG, not necessarily Spurs. And I think at PSG, he didn't like the idea of people signing players in the background, being told to play this guy, doing this and doing that. So if I'm Pochettino, I probably don't want to put myself in there for that again. It's not going to work for me. I think
Yeah.
Nagelsmann, things ended abruptly at Bayern. So it leaves a kind of a little asterisk beside his name where people say, well, what went wrong there? You know, and Nagelsmann has more to prove than anybody on this list. Then Luis Enrique, and then Pochettino. So maybe he has to gamble a little bit more and take a gig that isn't a guarantee because he's trying to rebuild his profile. Now,
Mm.
what's a good sort of what's a good outcome for Nagelsmann at Chelsea? Okay, well, for us to not be talking about what's going on behind the scenes and for us to be talking about what's going on the pitch and how they're playing. For Chelsea to get back into Champions League, for them to get back involved in winning domestic trophies. If Nagelsmann can do that, he succeeded massively at Chelsea. But it's a big gamble for him to make.
It's hard to see a day where Bowley takes that back seat, isn't it, and stays out of the way, isn't it?
I think it is initially because don't forget, it's still his new toy.
Mm.
This will wear off after a little while.
You would
And he
hope.
will,
You would hope.
and he'll have to go back to making business deals to allow everything else to run. And he'll probably have to get a couple of people in, to take the reins of the club. But for Chelsea, excuse me, for Chelsea, that would be a win because the further away from Stamford Bridge Todd Bowley is, the better it's going to be for Chelsea as a club.
Yeah. The only one thing I'm going to say here, and this will probably upset Chelsea fans even further, didn't Poch oversee a team while they were in the process of moving to a new stadium?
Yeah, he did.
You can clip this now. You can clip this now if you want, right? I reckon within the next 5 years, Chelsea are not going to be playing their football at Stamford Bridge. And that's going to be a bigger war.
No, I don't think so. I think that would be a stretch because I think, with the prime real estate that Chelsea is and with where it's positioned, I think for them to stay anywhere near that area would cost too much money. Whereas adaptations can be made to the ground and improvements can be made to the ground using the current and existing location. I think anything else would be a stretch, if I'm honest.
I think that's what they're struggling at the moment. They find it very difficult to do anything with the current situation in the current stadium. It's been a problem for many a year at this stage. So let's see what happens.
No, it has. But what prime real estate's like in West London.
Yeah. Acers was back in there. He reckons Chelsea financial fair play next season could be a problem if they can't ship out what they want to ship out and stuff like that and find homes for them. And quite frankly, if you're looking for 70 million for Mason Mount in the last year of his contract, you're absolutely taking the piddle. Henry, breaking news. Bobby Firmino may be staying with Liverpool after all. I read that today. That would be interesting. And Cheap Morris is in.
Why would he stay?
Because maybe he hasn't found an offer that was better than the offer Liverpool offered him initially to stay and extend. That's the only thing I could imagine.
Okay.
Or maybe he's seen green shoots of this new inverted play, this 3-5-2. Maybe, who knows? Or maybe he's happy to pick up a decent paycheck and play second fiddle to Cody Gakpo.
Roma just gone 4-1 up on the night, which is 4-2 in aggregate.
So it's dusted.
There's 110 minutes gone, so there's still 10 minutes left, but Feyenoord would need 2.
Yeah, Morris back in. Imagine defending that bell end. Imagine. Henry, did you pull my cables out, Redboard? My live went funny. What's a wedding anniversary to someone who isn't married? That's me. You could have a not married anniversary. Most people, Henry would call it a birthday. Morris is in. Remember when the Super Blues fans said that this is a new Chelsea? Proper Chelsea, huh? Henry in. I'm still waiting for that, Morris. And Ian, a few weeks ago, I was in range and purchased a metal folding chair. Was that for the wrestling or? Morris, how you doing, fella? Also, check out Morris's channel as well. He had Skinner on last night, Darren. It was very good.
I saw that. I just haven't had time to watch the episode yet, but
Absolutely.
I did see the thumbnail for Alright. It popped up on my socials earlier.
We'll park the Chelsea comedy show for the moment, and we'll continue it again next week. Tune in next week for the next round of what colour is London these days. We do not know. I'd like to talk about this man. I think this man deserves a bit of a quick shout on the slide before we get into the video on our bets. Erling Haaland, incredible, isn't it? Incredible. None of us could have imagined these are the heights he would reach. Record after record.
He's just a goal scoring machine. He's just a machine. He was built to score goals. He has every attribute you would want from a goal scorer. He's quick. He's strong as an ox. He's greedy. I love he's greedy. He gets the ball. He looks where the goal is.
Yeah.
How quickly can I get this shot off? Because the quicker I can get the shot off, the quicker that net ripples and I get to go and make that celebration.
Yeah, he's like a horse with blinkers, isn't he? He's not looking at anyone else. Just puts the head down.
Do you know what he reminds me of? You know when you were a kid and you played football in the schoolyard, right? And there was always this one kid that would just like score 20 goals on a lunchtime break.
Yeah.
He's just one of them kids. He's just like, and the rest of us would be like, pass it now. And I'd be like, no, I don't need it. Every time I get it, I'm just going to put it in there. And you're like, oh, all right, fair enough. He's ridiculous. I have one small issue I have.
Yeah.
One small issue. And this is an issue that has popped up before. Because if you know my 8-year-old, he's started to become football mad, He obviously plays his football and he's a big United fan. He was shouting at the TV before he went into bed at half time and stuff. But he loves Haaland. Absolutely loves him. He calls him the alien, And I think he's heard me a couple of times. And he said, Dad, the alien scored again. I said, yeah. And then but he absolutely loves him. He really does. Like, I don't know whether I'm going to end up getting him a Norway shirt or something because he'll never wear a City jersey. But just so I can keep him happy and keep a smile on his face, I might have to break out an old Norway jersey with Haaland on the back of it or something.
Get alien on the back.
just so he can have his moment in the sun, because and listen, if I'm a kid, by the way, no matter what team I follow, I'm looking at this guy and I'm going, holy shit, this guy's amazing. This guy's amazing. He really is. Which is great because we want our kids, we want their imagination to be captured by footballers. We do because we want them to love the game the way we love the game. And, and guys like Haaland make it much easier doing our jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to play a little bit of video footage here now from Rio Ferdinand talking about comparing the seasons of Man United and Arsenal, and if Arsenal potentially finish second, comparing that to Man United's thing. And we'll play the video and we'll get people's thoughts and we'll get your thoughts on it. Certainly it created a little bit of debate. So here is the video.
Question for you.
Go on then.
When Arsenal comes second and Manchester United come third, probably with one more trophy, either the Europa or the FA Cup, who's had the better season?
Oh, if Arsenal don't win the league and Man United finish third and just have the one trophy,
just the League Cup.
That's rubbish.
They've had a better season.
That's
than
rubbish.
You.
That is absolutely.
Give me your thoughts there. I'm going to pause it before we let the Arsenal guy in. He was hugging the Premier League trophy there for all it's worth. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, listen, Rio's 100% right. 100% right. If we finish third with one trophy and Arsenal finish handball, that's a stonewall penalty. This is still going on here. You've got to look at that. If we finish third with a penalty, and with a trophy, and if Arsenal finish second with none, we've had a better season. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, the conversation moves on here. You can listen to the chap defending Arsenal here. He talks about how much Arsenal has improved compared to United. But look, you're only judged on trophies. You're not judged on anything else. You know what I mean? So
I'm going to reference our friend from GP Productions here because I spoke to him about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, it's all about the cabinet.
Yeah.
It's all about the cabinet. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's play the rest of it and hear what the other lad had to say. It's
Who is the other lad?
He's it's Joel, is it?
Who's Joel?
Morris is in. I can't. It's when you do videos, you can't see the comments. So we'll come back. We'll listen to what he has to say and get his thoughts. But what he's really talking about is he's talking about the improvement that Arsenal have made from where they were compared to the improvement United have made from where they were. Discounting.
Is he one of these? Is he one of these Arsenal TV mugs?
I don't think so. Don't think so. But
okay.
Listen and see what he has to say. And
let's hear him.
Absolute trash, and you don't believe it yourself.
What?
No, come on, man.
So
you got to know. You have to
beat third.
If you're a player,
can I land?
Look at that Premier League trophy in his hands. Someone's going to be very upset, aren't they, if this doesn't happen?
Oh yeah, you know the other thing I worry about. Why does anyone wear a polo neck and a cap? A polo neck's to keep you warm, and a cap is to keep the sun off your face. The two things don't generally happen at the same time unless you're on a fucking ski slope. So he already looks like a donut, but go on.
Last one.
Right,
if you're a player, right? Forget fans now. If you're a player and you finish third and you win a trophy, right? Carabao Cup, whatever it is, right? And a team above you finish second and win no trophies, who's the happier player?
It's perspective.
Who's the happier player?
No, it's perspective.
No, I'm just asking you a simple question.
Not
who's
our players. Not our players. Do you know why?
The other player.
Can I land now?
I have to say, I love Stephen Howson in the middle of this. He's absolutely reveling in it, isn't he?
Well, listen, he knows it's clickbait and he knows it's views and he knows it's subscribers. So, you know, you can't knock a man for that.
No, absolutely.
Who's finished third?
Can I land now?
When he finished third?
Reason being is if you look at Arsenal Football Club, where we finished in the last couple of seasons, you say it. Go on.
Finished.
Yeah, eighth. You know, bad.
A shadow of your former self. They're not giving this guy an inch.
Positions. If you see where we were as a club, right, and you see where we are, yeah, but we finished in poor positions prior as well, right? We missed out on Champions League last year, but the progress we've made in order to finish second, Rio,
great progress.
Be in a title charge, right? And I reckon we'll still win it. But even if we miss it, we won't miss it by much.
I hope you win it. I really hope you win it.
I'd rather have that progress with my football club than, you win the Carabao Cup, which we don't care about.
Whoa. I'd rather have that progress with my club than winning one of 4 trophies that's available in a season. That's
25% of the trophies.
That's where I had to stop the clip. That's where I had to stop the clip big time.
Nah, listen, the guy's a joke. The guy's an absolute joke. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He really doesn't. He's, in essence, a typical London football fan. Shouts a lot, makes loads of noise, and doesn't know his arse from his elbow.
He's in Joel talking absolute garbage. United better season, yeah.
And listen, by the way, I'm sorry. He's given a straight red. Jesus Christ, man! The Feyenoord striker, heavily linked with United, the guy called Jimenez, has just got a straight red for a follow through. It's a little bit innocuous, but he's given him a straight red. But it's Premier League referee Anthony Taylor who just turned down a penalty, which again for me was a stonewall. That penalty should have been for Feyenoord, and now he sent off a Feyenoord player, and this has all happened in the last 4 minutes.
Even in Europe, they can't get it right when they go on tour. Sure, they can't.
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful. Like, I've just literally. And give a shout out to a pal of mine, Mike Walter. Mike's a Feyenoord fan. He's a Dutch lad in the tennis club. And he's just written on the top. It's just come across the top of my screen. He says, Jesus, these Roman lads are absolute scumbags. I will go a step further. And what I will say is, this is what Jose Mourinho does to football teams. He makes them nasty. He makes them very unlikable characters.
Makes them winners.
He makes them, and he turns them into teams that turn up and pick up trophies.
And will
And
run
that
through a wall.
cannot be underestimated, because don't forget, Roma won this last season, and they're a kick in the arse away from going into the semi-finals again this year.
Oh, they won the conference last season.
We won the conference last season.
Yeah.
They're a kick in the arse away from being in the Europa League semi.
Yeah.
So, again, taking them on a stage further. Now maybe it's not the progress Joel would like. Maybe Joel would like them to be higher up in the league and not get a league title or not get a trophy for the cabinet. But that's Joel, and that's Arsenal fans, and that's London football fans. They're a breed of their own.
Dare say, should we blame Wenger on this? Calling top 4 equivalent to a trophy?
Absolutely.
Arteta is totally garbage management tactics. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go
that far either. I have to be honest. I think he's done wonders.
Ian reckons he's probably just saying Bobby Lashley. Not a bad shout, actually.
It's an absolute great show. Ian, much love, brother. I love that. That's great.
Henry's in. The challenge was a leg breaker. Was defo a red card? Henry reckons. Looking at it. We shall see.
Not for me, Henry. He's followed through a little bit, but it's not a leg breaker. And you can see there's no force because he swung his leg standing up rather than going down and going into the tackle. Do you know? Yeah. I think you've got to look at excessive force when you look at that. Do you know what it's quite similar to, actually? Do you remember a few weeks ago, Sabitzer went and challenged someone? And he challenged them quite high on the knee with his studs, but it was more of a standing rather than an actual tackle, yeah? It's quite similar to that.
Okay, interesting. Right, shall we finish up with some bets and tips?
We should. You're going to lose me for this because I have the bets on my phone. So I can't see it and do the thing at the same time, if that makes sense. So
when you say lose, I'll just lose the camera, you mean? I'll still hear you.
Exactly, that's exactly what I mean.
That's okay. Well, I just want to say our resident referee then won't be too happy with that, because this is what he sent me.
What did he send me? Hang on. I am right. Let's see now. What?
He's been kissing your face on the screen. So he won't be happy with your camera going off.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it.
Right, go ahead. Give us your bets.
Do you know what? I've even done 3 this weekend. I did 3 for you, right?
Eno reckons Housen looks like Bobby Roode. That's a good shout as well, isn't it?
It's not a bad shout, yeah. It's not a bad shout. Actually, he's probably got a little bit of timber on Bobby Roode, but it's not miles away.
Yeah, and Henry Romer through 4-1.
Yeah.
Morris reckons Undertaker has Darren. Right, far away. Give us your...
I am going... I'm going to start off small, and I'm going to go up through them, yeah?
Yeah.
The first bet I've done is a both teams to score bet.
Okay.
So it's only both teams to score. It's not the result.
Okay.
So I have Arsenal and Southampton both to score. No. I got Fulham and Leeds. Yes. Palace and Everton. Yes. Bournemouth and West Ham. Yes. Newcastle and Spurs. Yes.
Okay.
So 8 teams to score, or 9, and no, not both of them in the Arsenal game. That's 5 legs of an accumulator, and that'll pay you 18-1. Now, don't forget, there's no results on it, so it's a little bit handier. You know, that's why the prices don't get up as high, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not too bad.
My second bet is slightly higher. It's 25-1.
Okay.
And with 25-1, I've gone for 4 anytime goal scorers. Okay? So we've gone our friend, the Egyptian king, Mo Salah.
Yeah.
I've gone with a man who's been very, very good since he came back from injury, one Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
I've gone down to the sunny south coast with Bournemouth, and I'm going with Dominic Solanke.
Good show. Good show.
And I finish it off up in the northwest at Newcastle with Callum Wilson. And that's 25 to 1.
That's not too bad. That's not a stretch at all.
No, it's not a stretch.
No,
And
that's
then
good.
my final one is my favourite bet of the week. It's result and both to score. Now, I'm gonna tell you the makeup of the treble first, and then you can tell me what price you think.
Okay.
So I've got Palace and both to score against Everton.
Okay.
I've got Liverpool and both to score against North Forest.
Okay.
And I have got Bournemouth at home and both to score against West Ham.
That has to be, is it mid-30s?
75 to 1.
Wow. That's tasty. That's very tasty.
Yeah.
Tasty. Although you're looking at Everton, who are quite blunt at the moment, can't buy a goal, and you're looking at Forest as well, to score at Anfield as well. So like you have big ones in there, and then of course Bournemouth to overturn West Ham as well. So yeah, no,
Bournemouth are at home though, and don't forget they're above West Ham the table.
yeah, I'm not arguing with you because you'll see
No,
my
no, no,
bet in
no,
a minute.
no. But I understand your.
I have the same. I have Bournemouth to win in a match that in a double that I've put together for the Sunday.
Yeah.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, no, good. I like them. I do like that goal scorer one. That goal scorer one's a good one. Well, it's FA Cup weekend as well, so I thought I'd do an FA Cup bet. So nice. Interesting. Let me know what you think on this. You can do them as two singles, and they come in nice as a double as well. So the two singles I went for were Brighton to win on penalties is 10 to 1. 10 to 1. And City and Sheffield over 5.5 goals. So I'm looking for 6 goals in that game. It's 15 to 4, just 4 to 1. And the double pays you 52 to 1 if you do it as a double.
6 goals a stretch.
It's Man City. They could blow Sheffield United away inside 25 minutes if they're
at it. But also if they do, they'll take a load of boys off the pitch and you won't see Haaland.
Yeah, but there's no degradation when these guys do subs. Not at a Sheffield United level. So
I gotta be honest. I think the Brighton bet's a great bet.
Yeah, 10 to 1 to win on penalties.
Because we're not great penalty takers or savers in David De Gea's case. I think 10 to 1's a nice bet on that. And maybe just a possibility. Maybe you could do it in a double with City and the handicap.
Yeah, maybe. The only thing, I think City in the handicap, you're going to have to get up around that kind of goals really to get any value on the handicap because most people are expecting City to blow Sheffield away.
You keep talking and I'm going to have a look at it while we...
Yeah, look up and see what the handicap is, but I'd imagine they're starting the handicap at probably 3.5 or something like that, or 3 or something like that. Before you're saying any kind of value above even money, I'd imagine. But let me know what you think. So I went into the Premier League then as well.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Manchester City -2.
Yeah.
Are 11 to 10. Better than even money.
Just over even money, yeah.
Just over even money for -2.
Yeah.
So
-3.
If you were to go with the -3, you can have 11 to 4.
So the -3 means 4 goals. Clear.
To win by 4.
Yeah.
That's a much better bet.
That might be the one to go for. And it shades it marginally. It brings the 15 to 4 back down to 11 to 4, which probably drops your bet down to about 40-ish to 1. 42 to 1 maybe.
All right,
that's not a bad bet either. Yeah, no, that might be the way to go. So then I went back into the Premier League. I'll give you the short price one I did as a 5 to 1 one, and it's a treble. So I did Fulham. These are just straight up wins. Fulham to beat Leeds, Palace to beat Everton, and Liverpool to beat Forest. Will net you 5 to 1.
Nice.
Now, my thinking on that is throw a tenner on that, you 55 quid coming back on 3 decent results that we kind of more
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a
I
nice,
agree with you
steady bet.
wholeheartedly. Because if you can pick, so generally when I bet, and I think most people know this, I set myself a certain amount of money, you know, I take me €50 on a Saturday and I gamble me 50. And when it's over, that's it. That's, you know.
Mm.
But if I can make one of them a short price, if I can at least get that up, I nearly get my money back most times. And then the other 4 I can play with a little bit, do you know?
Yeah, so
And it
you're starting out. You're
leverages.
starting out with a tight enough bet to cover your
Yeah,
outlay, if you like, and then once you're
absolutely.
there, then it's all upside.
Yeah,
So the other one I did on Sunday, I did a Sunday double in the 2 games on Sunday. So I did Bournemouth to beat West Ham, which I think we spoke about earlier, and
yeah.
I did Tottenham to upset Newcastle because I know Harry Kane likes a couple of goals against Newcastle, and the 2 of those will give you 12-1.
Not bad, but I think Spurs could be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm just expecting to bounce back from the poor result there the other day and stuff like that. So I'm expecting them to bounce back. And I know Harry Kane does fancy himself for a couple of goals against Newcastle and stuff like that. So we'll see. But and I know Tottenham will know that situation, that top 4 situation is on the line.
Yes.
I mean, the safe one would maybe a draw even, you know. But I don't know what it is. I just fancy Tottenham to do Newcastle this weekend for some strange reason. So that double gives you 12-1 anyway. Bournemouth to beat West Ham and Tottenham to beat Newcastle.
The highlights are just on the minute
Yeah.
of the Juve and Sporting Lisbon game. It finished 1-1 on the night and Juve won 2-1 in aggregate. But the goal that was scored by Sporting was scored by an English kid called Marcus Edwards. He scored a penalty, but late on in the 88th minute, he went on an amazing run down the right wing, got to the byline, and flicked a little cross into the 6-yard box, where a man you know quite well, one Sebastian Coates, who was Sporting Lisbon captain, had the whole goal at his mercy to make it 2-2, and took it off his shin guard and went the wrong way. Oh, it's a screamer of a miss. Oh my God.
That's mad.
That's very unfortunate.
That is mad.
That was for 2-2 in the 80th minute.
Yeah, Morris is in. I think Spurs and Newcastle will be a draw. Yeah, that'd suit us anyway. If we beat Forest on Saturday afternoon, that'd be a great result for us in terms of trying to have a card at the top 4 table, but we'll see what happens. But that's it. Not a great show. Love these Thursday nights as always.
Love these Thursday nights.
Big shout out to everyone in the chat. Of course, go and subscribe to all the channels in the chat who've been in there. We really appreciate your support. The subscribers are grown. And again, as I said, if you want to go out to TikTok, scan the QR code that does be on the slides and you will get straight into our TikTok page to follow us. Lots of stuff going on out there. I will be back Saturday at some stage after the game for a match reaction, and we'll be back on Monday as usual with the Monday mashup. But until next time, folks, have a safe weekend. Enjoy the football, whether the results go your way or not. Don't let it dictate your mood for the weekend. We can look forward to Arsenal Southampton tomorrow night. We have a festival this weekend.
Happen here.
No,
that doesn't happen here.
But it can happen.
No. When like my mood is very much dictated by my team's performance. just before we went live, my wife just reminded me, I don't play for them.
Yeah. Sure, isn't it only a game? Those famous words.
Oh God.
It's only a game. I'll tell you how bad it is here. Like, if we lose, Ben won't even watch Match of the Day with me.
If we you know those words, it's just like a red rag to a bull, isn't it?
A game. Morris, I love Todd. Ben's heading over to the Forest game, by the way. You got a ticket today, apparently. So
nice.
He's heading over with the lads to the Forest game, so I'm sure he'll have a great time over there.
Until
next time, folks. I tell you, man, it's not easy. 178 quid for flight and ticket.
Being young and handsome and, you know, having the world at your oyster, Benjamin. Good man.
Free. And having great dads always helps, doesn't it?
I'm telling you. Listen.
Well, until next time, a big happy anniversary to Mark and Yvonne. A big happy birthday to Tallulah, of course. And of course, big shout out to Ian being cancer free. 5.5 years, I think he said. And
Yeah,
also to Red
that's
Bull.
a monster.
Love all this positivity coming through and stuff like that. Absolutely brilliant.
And I tell you what, if you want positivity, go and check out Declan Rice's goal for West Ham. Holy shit.
We don't need these lads we're potentially buying to be looking good, sure we don't.
He goes about, I'd say he goes about 65 yards of the ball at his feet.
And just lets fly.
He picks it up from the corner. It breaks and he picks it up on the just outside the D, and he breaks, and there's runners off him. So the runners are attracting players, and people keep stepping off him. And the next minute he just rifles one across the keeper into the back. He's all of a sudden bearing down on goal. It's a great goal, by the way.
This was the Vincent Kompany versus Leicester that broke my heart when we were trying to win the league off them. Remember that?
Oh no, he's made it all the way to the box.
Oh, has he? Oh, he's got that far.
Oh, he's got into the box, and he's got it on his left peg, and he's gonna cross the goalkeeper. It's a really good goal, by the way.
I just reckon United playing out from the back doesn't work, absolutely. And he goes 100 million for Uncle Ben's. Yeah.
When obviously the chat was happening on earlier on this evening, and I wasn't part of it because I was doing a few bits here, but I could see stuff coming in on the phone, and I think the question was, who do you blame for the goal? And some people said, oh, it's 100% Maguire, and some said, oh, a bit of both. I got to be honest, right? I absolutely lay part of the blame with David De Gea there.
Yeah.
He's played with Harry Maguire for how many years? He knows the lad is absolute dog shit. If he doesn't look at him standing in the middle of them three lads there and think, trouble, we're in fucking trouble then.
And as a good goalkeeper and a world-class goalkeeper, no matter even if he asks for it, you should know better. I'm laying the blame actually at Ten Hag, because if Ten Hag didn't pull De Gea one side in the dressing room and goes, it's Lindelof and Maguire in front of you tonight, don't play anything out from the back, everything goes long tonight no matter what. And don't be listening to anyone.
And you know what? I got to be honest. If I'm a fucking relay runner, I don't pass the fucker that Barton in case he drops it. Like, that's because he is absolutely, Harry, you're garbage. God bless you, son. I'm sure you're a lovely bloke, but as a footballer, you are proper dog shit. The only thing you're worse at than football is, or the only thing worse than you at football is listen to Brian Bleeding Kerr down his commentary. He's in a bundle in the corner over there, in a heap. And now he's fixing his shin pads he's tucking the shin pads into the socks.
Phoenix Park football, isn't that what they sometimes say? There we go, back there. Right, folks, till next time, enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. Stay safe. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Join me for the match reaction Saturday at some stage. Happy birthday to Tallulah.
My birthday balloons.
I'd love a cake that size. Wouldn't a cake that size be class? Cheers, folks. Cheers, Bob.
Take it easy, pal.